So it's important to make some new habits. Helen Back says to take your purse and or briefcase and your cell phone and throw it in the back every time you leave. That way, when you do have a child in the back seat, when you go to grab your stuff, you'll be reminded the child is there. Bill, there's no convenient time to be without power, but with a widespread loss of electricity to many of these homes on a holiday weekend, it makes a bad situation even worse. Every weekend on 13 ABC, we bring you the to-do list in partnership with the Toledo City Paper.
Happening today, you can...
We're here at the Columbus Firefighters Union, Local 67. We still have about an hour before we can get inside, but that's where the Democratic challengers for the governor's office are inside watching and waiting. They think whoever did this knew right where the jar was. That old style pickle jar full of $2 bills and golden dollar coins is gone. All that remains is this small jar of half dollars. New this morning, ODOT has approved a $2.4 million grant to improve 2 streets in Findlay. The Courier reports the funds will enhance Main and Court. Millions of Americans were on the prowl for deals yesterday, but the scene wasn't quite as wild as previous Black Friday. Now here's something you won't see in the back of an Oasis kitchen every day. Bags and bags and bags of bottles of water. The owner says they've been going through 2,500 to 3,000 bottles of water a day between all 4 stores. A Denver Nuggets fan got super excited at a basketball game last night.
We're super excited that somebody got it on video. He put some moves that have gone viral. Check this out. He's apparently...
The family tradition of daily acts of kindness led to a young Waterville boy's decision to really pay it forward.
It ended up touching a whole family and inspiring others. 13 ABC's Kristi Leigh has the story, all new at 5:30.
It says Detroit Tigers.
Miles Eckert found a $20 bill in the parking lot while walking into Cracker Barrel to eat with his mom and sister.
I think most kids his age, she's going to be 9 next month, would have been like, oh, let's go buy a video game. I found $20. And now Miles and Marley together decided our waitress, it's her lucky day.
But that same day, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Daly of Perrysburg came to grab lunch with his wife.
I happened to be in uniform because it was a break from work for me.
Mr. Daly walked in and Miles' eyes lit up and he looked at me, he said, Mom, we're supposed to give that $20 to that soldier.
My wife noticed a little guy behind me that kept trying to approach me, and then he'd run back to his mom.
And he was super, super excited, and he asked me if I had a pen and paper, and he wanted to write him a note.
Lieutenant Colonel Daly ended up getting the $20 and the note that read, "Dear soldier, my dad was a soldier. He's in heaven now. I found this $20 in the parking lot when we got here. We like to pay it forward in my family. It's your lucky day. Thank you for your service. Miles Eckert, a Gold Star kid."
When I saw that soldier, it made me think of my dad. So I decided to give it to him.
Miles' father, Andy Eckert, died in the line of duty in 2005.
I could hardly keep a composure. And then finally, at the bottom, it said that he was a Gold Star kid, and so that indicated to me that he had a loss in the family.
How did that make you feel when he came over and said thank you?
Really happy.
I'm going to keep that note for my lifetime.
So $20 found on the pavement by a young boy and given away is inspiring that family to pay it forward as well.
For a little guy to give up quite the treasure to him was inspirational to us. And my wife and I talked about it, and immediately we were on the same page that we were going to pay that forward into the community, and hopefully that $20 grows even more.
In Maumee, Kristi Leigh, 13 ABC Action News.
Well, Lieutenant Colonel Daly's daughter posted a picture of the note on Facebook, and it got the families connected within hours. They plan to stay in touch.
Crime spree leads to a 9-hour standoff involving several agencies and about 70 police officers. Happened in Huron County over the weekend. And late this afternoon, authorities released new details. 13 ABC's Kristi Leigh, just back from Huron County, explaining how one piece of equipment may have saved lives. Kristi?
Several counties and agencies worked together to get an armed robbery suspect safely out of an unoccupied home he had barricaded himself in. In their efforts, Ashland County sent in a robot. Deputies say it helped keep officers safe and get the suspect to a hospital on time to save his life.
We were able to determine that once they launched the tear gas, he shot himself and he was injured, which gave us immediate information, which more than likely saved his life.
Huron County Sheriff Dane Howard says this man, 39-year-old Eric Patrick of Shelby, is now in stable condition, but he's facing multiple felonies after the weekend he put law enforcement through. The Richland County Sheriff says Patrick was on a crime spree between Friday and Saturday, culminating in an aggravated robbery at a market in Shelby. Patrols found him in Mansfield, which led to a high-speed chase into Huron County.
We went over the stop sticks, which blew out the 2 tires on the left side of the vehicle. He continued several more miles in the area of Olena.
Tire tracks are still visible from the end of the chase. At this point, several agencies and more than 60 officers were assisting.
He was armed at that time and was making some very harsh comments, specifically that he was going to shoot the deputies.
Sheriff Howard gets choked up talking about the subsequent 9-hour standoff at this unoccupied home on State Route 250.
How does it make me feel? Well, obviously, as the sheriff, I'm responsible for him. It's a tough call, but you have to make the stand for the victims in our community.
You can see the windows are now covered up. They were likely busted out when authorities administered the tear gas.
No law enforcement were injured in this event, and I think that robot and the ASORT team from Mansfield both played a vital role in that accomplishment.
Upon seeing Patrick had shot himself in the chest, officers made an emergency entry and he was transported to a Toledo hospital.
And I've been there when cops have lost their lives, and it can happen, and my goal was that didn't happen that night, and we succeeded in that.
Richland County Sheriff Steve Sheldon says drugs played a role in this crime. He says cocaine and heroin use in the county is very high and is drastically increasing the number of thefts, burglaries, and robberies in the area. Reporting live, Kristi Leigh, 13 ABC Action News.
All right, Kristi.
She is a single mom struggling with multiple sclerosis, and now the Sylvania woman is getting kicked out of the home she's lived in for 20 years. 13 ABC's Kristi Leigh joins us live with the emotional details, and it's a story you'll only see right here on 13 ABC. Kristi?
Well, she's getting by with a little help from her friends. Beth Weeks has been a member of St. Matthew's Episcopal Church for about 7 years. She says she's hit rock bottom and doesn't know what she would do without her church family.
It's been wonderful. It's been just so awesome to have all of them surrounding me to help me through this difficult time.
Beth Weeks was a massage therapist, but
because of this stupid hand I like to cut off, I can't do a massage with one hand.
She hasn't been able to work since her symptoms of MS started to appear just 2 years ago.
Hers has been so aggressive, so fast. She just came down with it in the end of 2012, and already she's at a place where she can hardly walk.
Reverend Joe Keblish Jr., Weeks' pastor, says she's always been a strong, self-sufficient woman. He didn't know how bad things had gotten for her until just recently. Weeks says she hasn't been able to work but has been denied disability twice already.
As they said, I am capable of working.
And just about a year ago, her 17-year-old son Tyler started exhibiting speech and mobility issues.
Trying to figure out his deal, and there's no answers for any of that.
Weeks took Tyler to the Cleveland Clinic for MS testing, and she came home to this, an eviction notice on her door.
Just been like one thing after the next.
Weeks' church family took action right away. Dozens came to help her get her things out of her home of 20 years and into storage. The pastor's son and wife are even keeping Weeks and her 2 sons in their home while helping her find a place to stay.
All of them told us the same thing. You must be homeless first before we help you. So we have to put a woman with MS and 2 children on the streets before we can get help from anyone.
Reverend Keblish says it's been gratifying to see so many in his parish helping out.
It just makes my heart feel good. It breaks my heart to see what's happening to her and feel hopeless. helpless sometimes. It's overwhelming.
The next step for Beth Weeks will be to go before a judge and see if she can get the disability she says she needs. In the meantime, she's looking for a place her and her 2 boys can call home. Her church is helping, but Reverend Joe Keblish Jr. says if anyone else wants to help, they can contact St. Matthew's Episcopal Church in Sylvania. For more information on that, go to our website. Reporting live tonight, Kristi Leigh, 13 ABC Action News.
Tough story. Kristi, thank you.
But we start tonight with the killer still on the loose. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Toledo police are searching for the shooter in the death of Isaac King. 13 ABC's Kristi Leigh live with details on that investigation tonight. Kristi?
King was killed just outside his own home last night. Toledo police were called to the 400 block of Danbury after a call of shots fired. The suspect will be charged with murder. Other than that, the family says they have no idea who would do this. So they're raising awareness and trying to keep King's memory alive.
No justice, no peace.
Thank you.
No justice, no peace.
Lights raised up in memory of Isaac King Jr., known affectionately as Ike. Within 24 hours, this was a home, then a crime scene, and finally a vigil.
I asked everybody to come out at 6 o'clock. This is about the same time my dad was shot. And I just wish that car would show up right now.
It's been a very rough 24 hours for King's children.
Just to hear your father been shot down and killed really hurts me. It just hurts so bad inside. I just love my father, man. I just want him to get justice. That's it.
King's family has had a mix of emotions, but one is dominant right now.
I'm just shocked.
This is unbelievable, and it's a tragic and a major loss for our family.
The family says they have no idea who murdered King.
He was a good guy. He didn't bother nobody.
He could work on cars. He could detail them. He could wash them. He was like a jack of all trades. He could do some everything.
He was a family guy, and he did not deserve to be treated like an animal.
All they can do is hug and pray.
We ask that you comfort our hearts.
And wait for justice.
They just left him out here like a piece of meat, out here on the ground. I don't understand it. I hope they find who did this. It was a cowardly move.
Everything, boy.
The family is asking the person responsible to turn himself in. If you know anything, please call Crime Stopper, 419-255-1111. Reporting live tonight, Kristi Leigh, 13 ABC Action News.